Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-Op. Today we're talking the top 10 best-selling fish out of our store. We've been doing this for 13 years now. And so we kind of have our favorites, and there's some sneakers in there. You're like, wow, those sell that much, huh? And then there's also an honorable mention at the end. So number one best-selling fish right now, and this is the last 30 days. This can always change, in the summer more pond fish happen and stuff. But number one selling fish right now, green Neon Tetras. They're great for planted tanks. They can live in the nano tanks, and they look great in big tanks. And for whatever reason, they tend to be slightly cheaper than some of the more expensive alternatives. And so people really flock to them. We found they do best if you're looking down at an angle. If you're looking at them straight on, they kind of like, yeah, they're blue. If you look down at an angle on them, though, they look green. And that green is not a common color in aquariums. If you think about it, you're like, yeah, plants, but how many green fish are there? There's not very many. And so I think when people see that, especially if you can get sunlight on them, wow, do they look good. But even in just normal light, if you can get the angle right, they look great. So if you have a lower tank, they really look good there. If you have to look up at them, they also look good, but they look best looking down. Straight on, mostly blue. Next up, the Ember Tetra. Super easy to care for, under $5, can live in nano tanks. It's a little bit chunky for a nano tank, as in, they can get a little bit bigger than, some of the slender fish. But being that they're so hardy and they show up against plants so well, most people go, oh yeah, I'd take some of those. And they can play in both realms. And what that means is, yeah, they can pare down to nano, but they can also level up to, I've got some bigger tetras, and maybe you've got Colombian blue tetras, and you've got maybe some Congos in there, and you've got Syrupy tetras and rummy nose, and they can go up. So they can play both sides of that, and that allows them to be an easy recommendation with them being hardy, them being the right price, and then also being full of color. That makes them a winning fish. Next up, Kuhli Loach, which you would think might be odd. You're either a Kuhli Loach person or you're not. They're either the grossest thing ever or they're the coolest thing ever. And you've always got more room for Kuhli Loaches. And so knowing that like 50% of the population get the heebie-jeebies, like, oh, they're snakes or whatever, it's amazing that they're so popular. But you can kind of always keep more. They don't really breed for you in captivity much. They scavenge along the bottom. You need quite a few to be able to see them because they're kind of nocturnal and shy. But they don't look like other fish, and they've got cool patterns, and there's a few different types, and all of that plays well in a planted tank. They can go in pretty small tanks as well. And so I think that's, it's one of the most common, like, well, I want a bottom dweller, but I don't have a big tank. Kuhli Loaches. And then if you're like, I'm looking for something unique, Kuhli Loaches. I'm looking for something that can get in between the plant roots and things like that, Kuhli Loaches. I'm looking for something that can get in the cracks and crevices of the wood, Kuhli Loaches. So they just answer a lot of questions for people, and I think that's why they end up being such a good seller for us. Next up, Cardinal Tetra. I don't think that's too shocking. We all kind of know, like, yeah, Cardinal Tetras look good. They look good in a big school. It's kind of a cheat code. Get a planted tank, throw in 50 of them. Wow, that looks great to everybody that doesn't know aquariums. And people that do know aquariums also know that looks great. But sometimes you can buy fish and go, well, that didn't turn out as good as I thought it was gonna. Cardinals always show up and look good. So it's no wonder that they're probably going to be one of the most sold fish at every pet store you would go to. Next up, this is one of the sneakers, I would say. Emerald Eye Rasboras. I love this fish, but you got to talk the customer into it, and then the customer loves it after they have it. So it's just kind of a silver looking fish with a blue eye, and you're going, yeah, it's all right. They're kind of cheap. I don't know, but there's all this colors, all these cooler fish. And you got to go, well, get a group of 20 of them. Get them in that planted tank. They school so tight. They look so good. That eye will gleam from across the room. It's like a little sparkle. And the people that do, they end up coming back to buy more. They're like, you're right, this fish is amazing. And so if you've never kept Emerald Eye Rasboras, start looking at them going, oh, okay, there must be something here. But yeah, they're one of our top selling fish if we put in the work and we teach people about them. Because no one will just glance and be like, oh, that's the one. They go, I wouldn't buy that. That's just like a sardine right there. But they're really good. If you like Norman Lamp-Eye Achilles, you'll love this fish. They're hardier, they're cheaper, they're better, they're more active. There's a lot of perks to them. Next up in the Rasbora family, Exclamation Point Rasboras. Nano fish. on the cheaper side. They look good. Feed mid-water. That's the hardest thing about them, feeding them mid-water. So either hatching out live baby brine, frozen cyclops, or frozen brine shrimp, or my personal favorite, the Aquarium Co-Op Magic Small Fish Feed. Hovers in the water long term, really lets them feed and color up a ton. It's got a lot of krill in there, so it really brings out the reds and oranges in fish. But yeah, they're a staple in the nano hobby, and because nano tanks are so popular, that's why it's one of our best-selling fish. Next up, fancy guppies. I love them. Not everybody does, but I think because I love them so much, we do sell quite a few of them. There's a lot of fans of them as well, and you can get every color under the rainbow. Every time you come in, you can look in the guppy tank going, I don't own one like that. It has a different tail, or a different pattern, or a different color, or a different shape, aura. And so when you have a guppy tank, especially if it's a family thing and everyone likes to buy new fish, you can kind of always come in and buy a guppy. And I think that's what leads to the long-term continual sales of them. Like, well, I kind of want to, ooh, I like that female. Ooh, this male, I want to introduce that. And so, yeah, just a popular fish. And then I happen to love them as well. Next up, Phoenix Rasboras. So again, another little nano fish. A lot of these micro Rasboras, as they call them, very similar, but slightly different. The spotting might be different. The coloration might be a little more or a little less intense. Mostly same-ish sizes. I say mostly because there is a little bit of variance there, but I think when people have nano tanks, they typically have a few, and you don't want just like, well, I'm going to do the same nano fish in each one. You might have 5 or 6 tanks, and they're all 5 to 7 gallons, and you want to try different schools of things, and these guys, they look great in the store, and so I think that's why they sell. Next up, Endler's Livebearer. So kind of like guppies, except mostly when I say Endler's Livebearer, 90% will be males. That little colorful male, super hardy, easy to care for, not super long-lived, only, 2 to 3 years normally. But the females, kind of gray and ugly. They don't sell well. Some people will breed them, like myself, but most often with like this number, it'll be 90% males, where people are like, I'll take 10 of those males. They look really good. And if you kind of look at them from that lens of like, this thing's got a lot of color. There's a lot of variance too. This is a great fish. But people always say, but I don't want all the babies. I don't want to deal with that. And so if you just buy the males, you don't deal with that. And I think that's the lure. And once we kind of unlock people's minds to that of like, yeah, you could do an all-male Endler like show tank in a nano tank, something maybe up to 20 gallons. Like, oh, okay. And, that's fun to pick out because there's a lot of different types. So, yeah, Endler's Livebearer. And then the last honorable mention, because you might be thinking, how did this fish not make it? The Kuhli Rasbora. That is the most popular fish, usually on every list. Why is it not? Well, they're hard to get right now. So, it used to be over the years, we could always get Kuhli Rasboras all the time. And they were always wild caught. And they still are always wild caught. But now they've become so popular, they're now seasonal. So what happened? Well, it used to be that importers and things like that, they'd bring in 10, 20, 30,000 of them. And stores like me would keep buying them, and we'd keep selling them, and it was great. And then as more and more stores found out how good of a seller they are, and online stores, and you guys watching going, wow, these fish are amazing, and telling your friends, and then your friends get them, now no one can keep enough to get us year-round. And so there's a season when they're really popular, or when they're easy to get, and you sell tons, and you try to buy more, and you try to keep them in stock as much as you can, and then there's going to be months where no one's got them. We just went through that, months of no one's got them. So they were like number 12 on the list, but normally they're number 1, and it's because they've got that bright color, they've got that great temperament. They're just like the quintessential, I want to say, like, for the small fish, nano fish hobby, you've got Kuhli Rasbora, and you've got Celestial Pearl Daniel, the peanut butter and jelly. Like, man, they are just staples. Yeah, so they're just super duper popular because of their temperaments, because of their looks, and they keep going up in price because they're getting harder and harder to get on both those fish. Because, yeah, you can breed the Celestial Pearl Daniel, but not many people. I don't even know if anybody's breeding the Kuhli Rasbora. I hear pH has got to be down in the 5s, maybe even a little bit lower. But there's lots of good breeders working on it, and they haven't cracked the code. And so, at least not to make it viable price-wise. If it's that difficult, the price has got to go up a ton. And so, yeah, there you go. Top 10 selling fish in the store. Maybe your store's got something different. Maybe you're African cichlids. Maybe they're into saltwater fish. But we focus on planted community tanks. And that's all we've been doing for the last 13 years. All the products we develop go towards that. You can buy online from us. You can buy at our physical store in Edmonds, Washington. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you around.